So we're doing like a short session, just mainly focusing on equips, right?
Yeah, that's the main focus, and a couple general questions also.
Mm-hmm. So, well, you want to start off with the general questions, or you want to kind of like set the scene on where you're at and what you want to reach and how you've enjoyed the game so far?
I think the general questions first, just so we could get that type of stuff out of the way.
Sure.
So, I have the 150 burn that I'm trying to decide what to use on,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I'm going to be playing too actively when the new Path of Exile comes out, but I'm probably going to get the burn for the... Is it Luna? I forget the new character. Lara.
Lara, yeah.
I'm probably going to get that too, so I'm trying to decide on what I want to burn for both of those to get my Legion better.
Mm-hmm. You did include a picture of your Legion, right? Let's see what you're at right now. Are you familiar with my commands? And if so, with which ones and to which extent, I guess?
Yeah, like, I usually follow... I've been, like, when I'm looking and trying to decide, I've been trying to choose, like I have the sheet up right now, for example, with the links and the Legion.
Mm-hmm.
And at least right now, for like the burn, I probably want to do something specifically that helps my Demon Slayer, so I probably wouldn't go with crit. But my other one, I might do crit just because that helps all my other characters when I level them.
Yeah, that's one of the situations where it's a little bit two-pronged, where usually the interests are pretty aligned, but then, yeah, Demon Slayer has that base crit in a lot of the skills that makes that a very low priority, and in that sense, it's probably the most desynchronized it can be, right, in a high crit character. Yeah, most of your Legion will benefit very, very highly from high crit. So you were considering, like, Phantom, or...?
Well, I was considering for the 150, just like get, basically bring that to like 160 is the next breakpoint, right? For Legion, at least.
The points for Legion are, they're on the bottom right. So you can see 60, 100, 140, and then 200, 250. So they usually, that's usually why 140 is kind of like a sweet spot, because if you get your max of 40 characters, you get them all to 140, and you have the few characters that are higher because of Terra Burns and because you're main and whatever. You can safely that way get the 6k, which is like a very, very good goal to go towards. And because the next step up from 140 before you reach anything is 200, and that's a pretty big jump. So typically 140 is like a pretty safe parking spot to leave a lot of characters. Of course, if you have Mega Burn, you go like the extra 10 levels just for the, you know, to facilitate getting to 6k without needing like a bunch of 200 pluses, etc.
Gotcha. Then for the 151 at least, just because like at least right now, I just want to feel a little stronger on my Demon Slayer. I'd probably be thinking something like crit damage or just flat.
Do you have the experience link skills? Are you with those?
Yeah, I have my Mercedes and my Aaron to 120, and my Evan is almost there.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and you can't create a 0 right now, so that's not really an option.
Yeah, I feel like every time I come, because I leave and come back, every time I come back, 0
you
is
just
not
missed them?
available.
Yeah. Well, they only added them to Reboot not too long ago, so, but yeah, if you just... Usually it's in the big summer events and the big winter events, that's when most people have the most time to play, so if you're just on the opposite end, then you'll just miss them every time. Although in Korea they have made 0 permanently creatable, so we're not yet sure if they're going to do that for GMS as well. Usually, because they end up copying stuff over from KMS, it ends up slipping in anyway. But we'll have to wait and see this winter if that, if that happens as well, yeah. Yeah, so crit damage would be pretty high on the rate after that, yeah. You'd be specifically selecting for your Demon Slayer, not so much for your entire account, right? Like you would with crit?
Yeah, basically just for the next one, just because I want to feel a little stronger on them. And like kind of the link helps.
Yeah.
And then after I get my Evan up to 120, I probably was going to follow the sheet for the most part. We're almost completely straight.
Yeah.
For when I work on it.
Right, so for the Terror Burn, you'd be looking at either mechanic or like one of the crit rate, maybe like a Phantom or something.
Yeah, like I hate playing mechanics, so it probably should be a Terror Burn. Because like I played it back when it was good, but they did so much little stuff to it.
It's very different now.
Awful.
Yeah. Like you played it when it just came out?
I forget exactly how long ago it was, but at the time it was in the top echelon of characters that everyone recommended.
Yeah, I think when it came out, you had like the giant wooden mallet. You would like put your hands together like to create like a mallet fist and like smack things. And there was also like that drill skill where you like just drill from one side of the map to the other and just push all the minions in front of you, and you'd be like immune while you were doing that, and you could just spam that without taking any damage ever. You know, back in the age of spamming potions and potions actually being expensive and that kind of stuff, it was pretty significantly. Yeah, it was a huge benefit. And then when you had them all together, you just smashed them with the mallet, and then you could create like the biggest numbers of damage that anyone could at that level, because it was like a single line of damage, right? So it looked amazing. I remember mechanic back then was yeah, it was pretty cool. I think that was really close to release, but they changed the class around a lot, yeah.
And I never, like at that time, I never really pushed that hard. I just played for a couple of weeks and then got bored.
And you
like,
seem to be switching between games a little bit more than I would, for example, yeah. Yeah, so it's really
like,
off and on with whenever PoE is like a good season, you just kind of tune out of Maple completely, and then you kind of fall back if it dies out or something.
And then like, I've been playing more PoE, and also like, I used to take TFT seriously, but now I'm kind of falling out of favor with that game too.
Oh yeah, I just started
set
picking it up again
too, so I might play that too.
Yeah, I've seen some content already. It seems interesting. They're doing something different, right? With the benefits you get.
Yes, it's kind of like you have niche little.
You got like passive
different
effects
things
or
every
something.
game.
Yeah, but you got like static passives or something, right? That kind of like guide what direction you want to go.
Yeah, I think there's like 10 to 15 that you could start with early on. And like, they're all very different. So like, you can play like more standard, but like I think the really flexible players are gonna be really good.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it'd be good to reward flexibility. Yeah, so the main thing you want to do is get your character stronger. I mean, that'll happen in general just from like what we're going to talk about, right? But there's nothing wrong with like going for crit damage here, especially if you're like not sure how long you're going to commit to the entire game. You don't want to overcommit on Legion early on, because then you're not actually getting to experience the fun parts with your main, right? So that makes total sense that you want to go for the crit damage, and then maybe a little bit more for experience, or for, you know, the general thing with the Terror Burn coupon. I think that's a good idea, honestly. I wouldn't really tweak that at all.
yeah, and like right now, because I know that I'm gonna be taking a break, I'm saving up a bunch of the reward points, so when I come back, I could just be on totem. Like,
well, the rewards do expire after a while.
The points?
Yeah, so the Maple points stay, but the reward points, they last until the end of the month after the month in which you got them. So like all the points you're getting now in October will expire when November turns into December.
Gotcha. Because my plan, at least right now, is to kind of do my dailies at bare minimum, and then play some PoE and stuff, but then like grind a little bit on the side.
Yeah, I think for that, it'd probably be a good idea. Are you familiar with like Maple M and how the reward point system works with that?
Yeah, I've been using that.
Yeah, because then you don't really have to actively commit to playing Maple in order to still get access to totems. And very easily you can just get your reward points that way, and that'll probably be a very low effort way of still getting very high returns on totems. So I'd probably mainly focus on that if you're not sure if you're, you know, if the reward points might be expiring. Because I think with PoE it's very cyclical in the sense that it gets like very hyped in the beginning, but then it like tapers off towards the end of the season, right?
Yeah, I think the average player doesn't even stay for 1 month, and each league is 3 months.
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, I feel like that kind of plays into why I will never play it, because I'm always way more long-term oriented, and in a sense PoE feels like did you ever play during when the lab server was live in MapleStory?
I don't think so.
It was basically like an external server, temporary one, where the rules were completely different, and you would deal damage in a different way, you would take damage in a different way, and the things would drop like insane amounts. It was almost like private server-esque with the numbers were like jumbled up. And it's like, it's very fun for like a little bit, but then you also pretty quickly just want to go back to normal. And I feel like PoE is in the same way, where it's really fun in the beginning to like figure stuff out and to, you know, see how everything is different. But once you kind of figure it out, it loses its shine very quickly. And I'm like very actively not looking for stuff that's so transient, and that's why I'm in MapleStory, because it's, and especially in Reboot, because we're always looking for like future stuff, and we always keep going.
You could progress for like 5 years on Reboot and still have shit to do.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, barring game shutdown, but in general, it's more. I don't know, I get a lot of value from the journey and not so much from the destination, and feel like if you have those short bursts, it's way more focused on the actual destination, on what you reach within that time, and it's like a very different approach, I think. But I guess maybe you get to tickle both your fancies by playing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right?
Yeah, that's why like I've been playing a lot more focused around playing with friends, not necessarily like getting insane shit. Like
I see.
I don't know if you know the gear in PoE, but I've gotten
I don't know any.
Headhunter a couple times, which is basically considered the end game item.
Mm-hmm.
And usually right after that, you get bored because everything is so trivial.
Right, then you won the game. Wait for the next season, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, I've been playing more with friends just to spread it out more, and we play basically a way where we don't trade with people. We just trade with each other.
Oh yeah. You could do like different mini games.
I need this,
within,
and my friend's farming that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A little bit of a micro economy within the game, because there's like third-party trading and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and it's also a bitch because none of it's on the game itself. So you have to navigate websites and shit.
I remember using Basel Market back in the day to try to sell stuff on MapleStory.
That's basically the same idea.
It went okay like 60% of the time, and then it went horribly wrong 40% of the time. It's usually what happened. Or someone would like bid on 5 items, and then they win, and then you'd message them, and they're like, "Oh, I already bought another one that was like 5 meso cheaper," and you're like, "Well, fuck, I'm gonna have." And then you wait for them to give you like a good review, so you can give them a bad one, because you know if you give them a bad one first, they'll give you a bad one back, even though you didn't deserve it. It's like this whole meta shit of trying to like fucking eBay on MapleStory. Oh god, it was it was the best we could do at that point, but it was kind of a disaster. But I don't know.
A bunch of 14-year-old moguls getting mad at each other.
Yeah. Oh god. But yeah, I think for when it comes to the burning and stuff, I think that sounds like a good plan. I wouldn't really do anything about that. So I think that's good. Unless you have any additional questions on that.
I think I'm good on that. I was just curious about it.
Yep.
And I think you answered what I needed.
Okay. And you had other general questions?
I think that was the only one that I can think of, actually.
Okay, cool. Right, so when it comes to equips and getting through the game and stuff, I saw someone in the chat, I don't know if it was you, using like it was best looking Asian. I don't know if that's you. Are you the hottest Asian around? No, okay. I saw they use like progression, and then after that, or like use like guide, gear, and then gear guide. So I don't specifically have like a gear guide on like at this level you need to get this thing, on this level you need to get this thing, because I feel like that just oversteps the boundary of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to more like lay out like here's the content that's good. Here's like how you can kind of guess if you're strong enough for your level. You can kind of guesstimate, right, if you're good for your level, and then if you can, here's the content that's like good around your level, and that's kind of like where I leave it, and that takes you past everything that you're going to run into and everything that you're going to need when it comes to gearing your character. That like logically follows from that, and it's really just like a handhold kind of thing for your first playthrough, and then after that you kind of figure it out. You're like, okay, this was too slow, I can do this faster. This other thing, I was too weak on my first character, but now I can jump ahead to that. Excuse me. And then you can kind of make bigger jumps, and certain characters will need certain things more than others. You already know that now, right? If you play another character, you might need way more crit rate, so you have to go out of your way to do that instead.
Yeah, like I had a session with you before, and it was mostly focused on my Kana, but I don't know if I'm gonna go too hard on the Kana after the changes. Because
Well-
like I can't just perma stay in Arcana, and I might just have more fun if I have my main and then like just meso gear on that guy and switch it over when I farm.
Yeah, that's what. If you're limited on time, but not necessarily in flexibility, I think the and with the current setup and you like multiple games and stuff, like highly investing in Akana, I feel like that would take too long for you to pay off to feel like you're making progress in the game, probably.
Yeah, like as you can see, it has the burning gear. I burned it when I was planning on playing a lot of MapleStory. And then I had to temp CRA, and then just randomly one day, because I was grinding really hard, like, and just one day I was like, I'm bored, I don't want to play this right now.
Yeah, and then you were naked when you logged back in.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh shit, at least I have Pencilier, and then I was like, oh yeah, I have the frozen gear too.
Yeah, if there was some upgraded on that, then it's probably better. Yeah, so so there's like a few things that'll be helpful to keep eye on. So one is like exclamation mark cubing, right? That kind of goes into in what order do you want to work on things potential, and that takes into account the main thing is how much money do you invest in this versus how much are you going to get out of this, right? So percentage-wise of increasing your damage, what has the highest efficiency there? But it also takes into account how long are you going to keep things, right? Because if something gives you a lot of damage, but you're going to get rid of it in like 10 levels, then it's not really worth spending a lot of money on it. So those are like the two main factors. And I guess like at what stage of the game do you get access to a good piece, right? That you're going to keep for a long time. But that takes that into account. And then the other main things is like exclamation mark progression, right? The big sheet. Of course, the ranges now are even bigger because it goes up to level 300. And in your current state, what will happen is what you'll probably see is that you have to really guess like, am I all the way on this side, all the way on that side? It's a bit trickier to do if you're not leveling as quickly. But it'll give you a general sense of like where can you spend your time to get good results. For you, if you're playing like a lot of different games, you probably, or I'm not saying like you're all over the place, but if you're playing different games, you probably disproportionately want to invest a little bit more specifically into one character and not as much in Legion, most likely. You're going to be more relying on just events and stuff to build the Legion, and then on the other side, when it comes to like all the numbers that you're looking at for your main character, that's probably going to be a little bit higher to kind of compensate for that.
When I came back, basically like the way I play this game, at least what I've noticed is like vary through like motivation. So like when I came back, I was very motivated, and I didn't have Aaron or Evan at all when I came back, and I got them both basically almost to 120, and then just was running Zachem to finish that off. And I think that's how I generally will probably be doing it a lot of the times. Like when I do take a break, I'll come back and grind out characters I didn't feel like working on, and then work on the main of it.
Yeah, because the main thing with the main is that a lot of the progress, right, especially once you start doing symbol dailies, is limited to how many separate days you've played on the character, rather than how many hours you've necessarily played on the character, right? Somebody who plays like 6 hours a day on Saturday and on Sunday makes less progress in general than someone who plays like an hour and a half a day every single day, right? Even though in hours you do fewer hours, you'll get way more progress in general. Just because of symbol dailies and all that stuff, it propels you forward. It's a lot of quote-unquote free progress that the game provides for you, provided you railroad into doing these specific tasks every day.
Yeah, like that's the main thing I'm gonna try to keep up, at least for the most part, when I'm playing PoE, is getting my hopefully by the time it comes out, I'll have, I forget the one that's after Vanishing Journey, but I'll have both to do.
Yeah, the choo-choo one.
Choo-choo. Yeah. Hopefully I have both of those, and I could kind of like get those going a bit while I'm not playing as much.
Yeah, and they level the fastest out of the two as well, so you'll continuously see good progress in that. So it's always good. Yeah, so and then exclamation mark dailies, right? As long as you, at least when it comes to the progression, you're kind of following, and you're roughly within those limits. Oh yeah, I just used it in chat. You can click it. As long as you're like roughly within the limits of the numbers that you're looking at, then basically your level becomes a placeholder of how strong you are, and you can kind of see in the first grid here like what kind of stuff are you looking for? Are you looking for certain equips? Are you looking for you know, flame drop rate? I don't know any of that stuff. And then you can go to the second page, and that's kind of like looks at by level, like which dailies are, I think, worth your time. And of course within that there's gradations, right? If something is worth your time but it prepares you for something that you're not necessarily wanting to go for, you can just skip it. If it's something you've already done a few times and you absolutely hate it and you don't really have the time anyway, you just skip it. But some of the things are very high priority, right? And that specifically is like the symbol dailies, and if you can, of course, as much weekly bosses as possible, because it'll disproportionately high drop rate for things like flames and cubes, which will help you a lot, of course, and the boss crystals, which have good values.
Yeah, like what I've been doing a lot right now, just because I don't have any farmer, is doing more of the dailies on more characters, just to get boss crystals for some free money.
Yeah.
And like obviously I do Ursus and stuff when I can, but sometimes my work schedule interrupts things like that.
Yeah, in some ways, one thing I do want to caution, which I see a lot, is that some people will min-max trying to get like the 60 crystals per character per week by doing like all of those bosses that give like 7-8 mil around there, right? If you add up all that time that you spend doing that, if you spend that time training instead, you'll get roughly the same amount of money, but you'll get a whole lot of experience for it instead as well. So that's something to kind of beware of, that the game doesn't like lead you into playing an extra 15 minutes a day, where if instead you just play 1 extra hour a week and dedicate that to training, you'll actually end up with better results, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
It's kind of like with Monster Park, right? Monster Park is like, oh look, this Vanishing Journey and now this Choo Choo Monster Park, they give a lot of experience per run. That's true, but the runs take way longer as well, and you might end up like, and I'm looking at that right now with my Hoyoung as well, seeing like, is it worth going for the Choo Choo with the extra EXP, or do I just stick to Vanishing Journey or even a lower level one and just get the runs done faster? That's something that you always have to weigh based on, you know, are there events out? How many hours are you spending on another game? And is it really worth your time?
Yeah, like late in this event, it's probably going to be best to do the fast ones if you're tight for time. Because like not the fireworks? No, not that other one.
Yeah, the ride attractions one?
Yeah, that one's going to be insane, like the last...
Yeah, last 2 weeks now. That started this week and then next week specifically, yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
But,
yeah, as long as you're thinking about it that way, then you have like the right mindset, I think, to make sure that you're not getting played by the game too much.
Yeah, I did the bonk event first just because I was leveling this character up through that low level area. And it did pretty well. Like, I bonked once for 10, so I was happy with that.
That's big, yeah. This is a lot of time.
It was really early. But I also was tighter on time, so basically I would do just the 4,000 mobs and nothing else. Well, I think I'd do the bosses, but and then I'd just go to sleep for work.
Yeah. There's even like 3 bonks a day you could technically do, but that's a whole lot of time commitment, of course.
Yeah, I basically did 1 a day for, I think, 6 out of the 7 days for the first week.
Even that's already like substantial progress, right?
Yeah, this character was not even created at the beginning of the event, so...
Yeah, nice. And now you got 5th job. How's the 5th job feeling?
I'm liking it. I still, like, I haven't really messed with the Matrix yet. Because, I had a guide that I was following, but the Matrix part is basically, like, a bit glitched out, so I don't know exactly all the stuff.
Oh, it's glitched out? Oh, and the guide, you mean?
Yeah, like, it's like a written guide that was, I think it was released a while ago, so it might be a little old and outdated. But, like, I know, like, having the skills generally is just good.
It's really good, yeah. I guess early game, the Bane is probably not going to be as important for you for mobbing. It's mostly going to be for bossing. Because you're just like locked in. It's a pretty big AoE, but you're kind of just locked in one place, and you probably have a decent amount of firepower, so you kill the monsters pretty quickly, and you just stand there hitting air for a while. So Bane is probably not as important, so you probably want to throw in some decent skills, maybe probably decent speed infusion or decent holy symbol if you can get your hand on those. Those would be very useful early on.
So well, that's actually another quick question. Right now, since I literally just got here and I don't have that many nodes and stuff, so if I wanted to make a decent skill, that costs a bit, right?
Yep.
So do I deconstruct, like, I don't know which...
Yeah, so if you get special nodes, you can always deconstruct those. When it comes to decent skills, if you're like within your scenario, if you get extra decent skills of the ones you already have, I would probably disassemble any duplicates you have, because leveling them in your situation is not going to be beneficial. That's something you can do like once you get like past 235 or 240 or something, and you really want to commit hard to the game, then you can start doing that. Things like decent hyperbody, decent mystic door, probably Urda Shower and Urda Nova. Yeah, at least those. Those are skill nodes that you won't need, like, ever. So you can just extract those, and then just duplicates of other ones that you find. And then when it comes to boost nodes, do you know how it works with boost nodes, like which ones you're looking for?
I don't know which ones I'm looking for.
Okay. So I'll put the link in the chat. So VMatrix, that one looks at like which skills you want to boost throughout all of the classes in the game. So what basically happens is that any kind of boost node has just any of the skills, I think for first, second, third, and fourth job, right? Attacking skills on there randomly. So some characters have it a little bit harder, where it's just way more annoying, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that they don't really want. I think this is the setup generally because the first 3 is more bossing skills and the second 2 is more mobbing skills. Of course, if you're going to be doing more a combination of the two, or you're not going to be going as far into the game, at least not early on, Infernal Concussion is probably going to be a little bit more important for you because that's like one of your main mobbing skills, right? So you're probably going to be looking for Demon Impact, Demon Lash, and Infernal Concussion, probably these 3. So what you want to try to do is get these 3 together onto one boost node. Doesn't really matter what order they're in. What's going to matter once you pick those skills. So if you find any, if you have a boost node and you look at it, when you hover over it, it'll have like the 3 skills mentioned right on the bottom with the little icons. So whichever one, the top one is mentioned first, that icon, that is going to determine which other boost nodes you can use to fuse with it to level it up. So only the top one is going to be important there.
So like if the first one is Infernal Concussion, I could use other first Infernal Concussions?
Yeah.
Or does
Yeah, so let's say that you have one with Infernal Concussion, Demon Impact, and Demon Lash, like you find that one. If you have another one that also starts with Infernal Concussion and has whatever on the second or the third line, you can enhance your first one, Infernal Concussion, Demon Impact, Demon Lash, and then that one will gain experience, and those skills will level up, regardless of what the second or third one is on the other boost nodes. So with this in mind, that also means that if you find any boost node and the top skill is not one of these that you eventually want to boost at all, you can always disenchant that one immediately. And just make sure that you always have as many shards available as you... that you keep it clean, right? You don't just pack on like a bunch of nodes that you're never going to use anyway. And you have a more realistic overview of your... Yeah. So in general, so boost... Yeah, and then for further... For like future planning and everything, is that so boost all nodes can go up to level 25. That includes skill nodes and boost nodes, and a single skill, so like a earlier skill, so like these Infernal Concussion, Demon Impact, etc. These can be boosted up to 60 levels. So, but the slots of the nodes itself can be leveled as well, right? You've probably seen this. If you open up your matrix, you probably have at least one of those points, right? Matrix points?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you go slot enhancement, then you can click one of your slots and you can level it up, and the slot can go up to level 5. So you put a level 25 eventually level 25 boost node in a level 5 slot, it'll turn into level 30. And then if you have 2 of those, and again, remember, they have to start with a different skill, right? You can't equip like 2 boost nodes that start with Infernal Concussion. One will have to start with Demon Impact and one with Infernal Concussion, or whatever combination makes sense, but they have to be different ones. And then if you have 2 that are 25, both in a level 5 slot, that goes up to a total of the 60, and that's the highest you can go. So when it comes to like efficiency with your matrix slots, you want to make sure that the boost nodes don't take up too many slots so that you have optimal room for skill nodes, right? Those are really strong early on. But until you get a lot of nodes, you probably will rely on skill nodes the most of anything, because if you can choose between like a level 2 boost node, even in a level 5 slot, that might, you know, then it's level 7, it's 2% per level, so then it's like 14% final damage. That'll start counting. But if you have like a level 1 slot and you have a level 2 boost node in it, it's not really going to do much compared to like a whole skill that can like destroy the whole map every 90 seconds or something. Right? So like comparatively, skill nodes are just very strong early. And then once you get more slots, once you get more nodes, and once the slots get leveled up and stuff, even level 2 node and level 5 slot, level 7 total, 14% final damage for 3 skills, that's going to be very useful. But it'll take a while until you find those boost nodes, what we call Trinodes, that have like the 3 skills that you want to level. So that's going to just take a bit, and it's just a bunch of RNG and opening. You know.
Yeah, I was looking at them as we were talking about it, and I have one that was close. And I'll probably use it until I get a skill to put there.
Yeah, so if something is like 2 out of 3, for example, like 2 out of 3 skills that you want, remember that the top skill is the most important. If you do find your perfect one later and it has the same top skill, you can use your leveled up node and use that to enhance the new one, and all the experience will get transferred. What you want to avoid is level up a node, even if it's 2 out of 3, that has the top skill that you don't want, because eventually you have to extract that, and when you extract, you get a lower value back in shards compared to how many nodes you've put in there. So, you know, from like an efficiency standpoint, the former situation is desirable.
Yeah, I have one with the top Infernal Concussion, so leveling that if I get a perfect Trinode with Infernal Concussion.
Yeah, for training that'll help. Yeah, if you can get like level 3, 4, 5, and you can put it in a high level slot, then that'll already start making a significant difference, because it's mainly like the boost nodes and your arcane symbols that are going to make a huge difference, right? Because both of those are final damage impacts. Right, so the boost nodes increase the final damage of any skill that's on there, and then the symbols, those will make sure that if you meet the requirement of the arcane power of the map, and if you go beyond, that you get a final damage multiplier there. So those two working together is going to be the main thing that drives your damage, together with probably your weapon, secondary, and emblem when it comes to their potential. If we get to the equips and everything.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I was thinking. I haven't been able to max out every day on the points because of work and whatnot. But when I get that, I think it's a unique EPOT scroll. Since my emblem has nothing, should I probably just throw it on there, since that's one of the best ones anyways?
Yeah, there's a unique potential scroll in the temporary stuff, right? Yeah, on emblem that would be the highest value for sure. Yeah. Okay, and you'll see in like exclamation mark cubing, right? It's really high on the list as well, because it's something that you keep very long, and it's something that percentage-wise and investment-wise can give you the best returns. Yeah, definitely.
Can't it roll like similar stuff to weapons and whatnot?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit different with the things they roll. Like weapons can roll boss damage, and emblem cannot. But in the general sense, they roll the most similar, like between weapons, secondary, and emblem, WSE. That's usually what we refer to as the most important ones. It's paramount that those three get way more of your attention than anything else. Because if those three have good lines, you could essentially just walk around with just a weapon, a secondary, and an emblem, and be completely naked otherwise, and you can be fine in the game. Just because of how much damage comes from this stuff.
Gotcha. And I was trying to remember, because I was looking more at the B Matrix stuff. You said decent speed infusion was one to look out for.
A decent holy symbol.
Holy symbol for training.
Yeah, extra EXP and also extra drop rate, and that'll help you with nodes as well, because nodes is very important early on. It's very difficult to get any of. So whenever any event comes out with an event shop and has nodes in it, you want to prioritize those above anything else you can get, basically. It's like nodes and then maybe event rings. Those are the two most important things you're going to be looking for in your situation.
Yeah, I went hard on the event rings last time I played. Like, I got 2 SS rings,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time, I think there's one other. Is one of the good.
Maybe
I think
synergy or something.
Yeah, I think it was one synergy ring I got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're usually
And-
cheaper, but then they require the set bonus to become better. But once you have them, they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, unique on the emblem, that'll be a huge damage increase. And the other one is that if you have a cold cubes for your secondary, I would try to look for attack percent there. Even though strength, is strength, it's still good. But attack percentage is so much better. If you can roll attack percent, because even if you roll 3% attack, it's going to be already better than what you have now. It's just so much different compared to the other stuff.
I was spamming occult cubes on
exactly.
I remembered that, like, the secondary emblem and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically took the first line that was decent and then moved on. Like,
Right.
I think my weapon also has strength as well.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. For the weapon, it's, and that's probably why the speed infusion is also a good idea, is because it's a little bit annoying for the weapon, but because the other weapon has like 1 attack speed lower, but you do want to try to get the Sweetwater weapon. So like Commerci, if you haven't done that yet, try to unlock the Commerci voyages. Do you know how to do that quickly?
I started doing that the other day. I think I'm at like 60 coins or whatnot.
Right. Oh, you haven't gotten a weapon yet? Well, yeah. So just make sure you keep unlocking the further destinations and keep doing the further voyages, because those are the ones that have bosses, and the bosses are the ones that can drop. And as soon as you unlock Herbtown, you can also do CPQ, and then there's bosses in there that can drop your weapon. It has a very high drop rate, and
did they change the drop rate?
Yeah, it's super high now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't advise it, because it would be so niche. But it's very reliable. That like if you just do the dailies and the CPQ, it should take you no more than like 3 days max to get a weapon. Probably 1 or 2 days.
Gotcha. And that being said, if I replace this weapon, then I would go down to the 5 set for Pencilier.
Yeah, which is fine. Because the main thing, again, like where you want your damage to come from is like the potential of the WSE, and the base attack of the Sweetwater is going to be way higher, and we want the emblem and the secondary to do more, and we want your boost nodes to come online, and we want your arcane symbols. That's where we want all the damage to come from. So not so much from the set bonus from Pencilier or something. In the grand scheme of things, that's going to be peanuts. It's going to not register, basically.
Gotcha. Because I would assume, like, I've tried to do some research, even though I don't know if I'm going to go super hard with this game, but would eventually people transpose onto the Sweetwater weapon then?
Yeah, so for the Sweetwater weapon, typically not, because it's a little bit more effort than it's useful, because typically once you have the Sweetwater weapon, you only go up to like epic potential, you get like 12 star or something, and then maybe you even go for a flame, but not even always, because it doesn't have flame advantage, because it's comparatively pretty expensive to flame. Usually when you use that as a temporary weapon to get strong enough to kill CRA, and then once you get the CRA weapon, then you just switch out of it, and then you go back down in level, so you can even transfer hammer, so you don't want to overinvest in Sweetwater.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I don't remember all the different like breakpoints levels and all that.
Yeah, Sweetwater is level 160, and then all the CRA stuff is level 150. And then Abzo is 160. So if you're going to Abzo Lab, then that's why some people go a little bit harder in Sweetwater, harder on CRA, especially on the Star Force, because then you can just transfer hammer that progress into Abzo Lab, and then a lot of that value can get saved. Now you can do that with this guy, right? But you'll have to find a level 150 weapon, probably either from Ramaru or from doing the Commerci questline if you think that's important and if you think that's worth your time. Because if you can transfer this into Sweetwater, you immediately have 3-line in Epic and have some Star Force on it, and that'll save you quite some money.
Gotcha. I think, like, because I was just going for pure Generos, because I didn't know that they changed the drop rate of Sweetwater weapons. So I think if I specifically go out of my way, I can unlock Herbtown today.
Yeah.
And do CPQ.
Yeah, the Voyage before Herbtown, I think, already has 1 boss, and then Herbtown has 1 or 2, I think 1, like the Red Pulpo, and then CPQ has at least 3 bosses in it, right? But possibly 5 or even up, 7 or even 9. So, yeah, it's pretty much like on a few of my characters, I got the Sweetwater weapon from the very first boss I killed, but for most of them it was like 2, maybe 3 days tops, and then you have it. And it's a huge increase, the base attack. But the one thing I did mention, that's why I mentioned speed infusion, is that the attack speed for the Sweetwater is 1 lower though. So that's probably why attack speed is going to be useful. And then maybe green pots if you're doing Monster Park, to make sure that you keep your attack speed high, because otherwise it's going to feel a little bit more sluggish than you were used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you should be hitting pretty hard though with it, because yeah, the base attack is way high, and it has 30% boss damage and 10% IED built in. So that makes it very, very strong right off the bat, especially when you're going to do bosses, and you'll feel a huge difference with that. And that'll overcompensate for the set bonus.
Potions from Monster Park. Like I still have like 40 something pots.
Yeah, that's great then. Yeah.
Because also another big thing was that compensation thing was also huge for me. Because I unlocked the pocket slot for free because it gave me the trait boosts and stuff like that.
Oh right, yeah.
And I was actually curious because these flames are gonna expire soon.
Oh,
I don't have anything
flames?
that's super flame advantage because I got some in that box.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're not gonna get CRA by that point. The best thing to flame, it's probably... Could you get to... Well, if you can get to normal Pink Bean and kill Pink Bean and get the drop for the Pink Holy Cup, that's like the level 140 item and flame advantage, so that would be like... When it comes out to the numbers...
I could probably do that pretty fast.
Yeah, that would be
it only took me a day last time I did it.
Yeah. So that would be something to try. And if you can't get... Well, don't you have like 10 more days or something to pick up the flames? You have some more time, right? I know, I picked them up immediately, so I don't know.
I think the ones I have... Oh, they actually expire in like, about 10 days.
Yeah, so if you get a Pink Holy Cup, you can do that. If you don't get the Pink Holy Cup by then, the backup would either be the Condensed Power Crystal or the Deacitus Earrings. Probably Deacitus Earrings first, because it's level 130. You can get decent chunks of strength and all stat on that. But since it's only 9-star for the Deacitus and for that one, it's almost better to just keep doing those bosses whenever you can, and then just compare the flames, and then just pick whichever one's stronger. Because even just, especially for the earrings, because it doesn't even have potential or lines, right? It's only 9-star. That's very cheap to get back. And then the flame-wise, yeah. So I would probably go for the Pink Holy Cup, because I think that at this point, because even the weapon doesn't have flame advantage. Your secondary can be flame.
I think I already know the answer, but after I do the pre-quest for Pink Bean, the hard mode is also unlocked for it. Because my guild has been helping me out with
Chaos, yeah.
Like that. Oh yeah, I forgot that was Chaos.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was just like Killer and Cold Hard.
Yeah, I think it depends on... I think it's hard if the person is like a general of the Black Mage, and if they're not, then it's Chaos. Is the rule of thumb, I think.
Gotcha. Makes sense. I probably won't remember that, though.
Yeah, a little lore for you there. I know you signed up for that.
But, yeah, like, the weird thing is, like, I'm sure you get people like this, but like, I go hard when I actually play the game, but then randomly I fall out of favor and take a break. And last time I played, I don't know if it's still a thing, but there was like some like quest line that gave me the Kana ring and like the belt. Should I aim for that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so it's different now. You have to do it only one time instead of like 3 times on all the different characters, so that they made it a lot shorter. But you have to run the. You don't get any of the pieces. You have to kill the boss, and then the boss has a chance to drop the pieces. And she is. She's in the weeklies and daily bosses as well. Princess, no. If you're gonna solo her, she's a little bit further down on the list. You can start doing her like within like. You're like 201 or something now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so within like 10 to 15 levels, you can probably start killing her. Or again, if your guild is running and they have room and you can join, something like that. But yeah, there's no more guaranteed for those pieces now. If you want to get like equips out, I think when it comes to progression, you can benefit a lot. I think from unlocking Von Leon and getting the Von Leon equips. They're level 130 versus Pencilier, but they have flame advantage on them, which is a huge benefit, and they have a way better set bonus as well than Pencilier.
Is that the one that also is like you get a ring from him that fills
further down there's like the Rose Garden stuff, and then if you do that you can get the Ifia's ring, and that's also part of the boss accessory set, so that can help you spiff up that set bonus a bit more. And then the cup is also in there, and then the shoulder, all the stuff works together with the badge. Yeah,
because I have 9 boss accessory right now, so I'm probably gonna stick with that for a while. But obviously, certain things would be better than what I currently am wearing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, like my belt is a big one I have to upgrade. I have 2 empty ring slots, so I definitely have a lot of shit that I can.
Well, again, remember in the beginning, like whether you have 2 empty ring slots or not is not as important as getting like the unique potential and something nice on the emblem, getting attack on the secondary, and getting like a stronger weapon with good potential. Those will do way more for you than even if you put in event rings right now. Just from like a total percentage of like giving you more damage, there's way more in the weapon secondary and emblem to be gained there than just getting a ring. Because what are you going to do with a ring? You might roll 3% strength, or maybe get it to epic and roll like 6% strength. But if you roll a line of attack on your secondary right now instead of the line of strength, that's more than those 2 upgrades combined. Always be more. So try to... I mean, it's totally up to you if you like want to go for rings and you think it looks better, right? When all the slots are filled, that's totally like, if you want to do that, like I'm not going to stop you from doing that. But just to give you the perspective of like what the value is for your account and for your damage output, weapon secondary and emblem is just so far above all the other stuff, especially in the beginning. Now, once the weapon secondary and emblem are like, the Sweetwater is like epic and's got like a line of attack, and the unique you have unique on maybe the secondary and the emblem, and they have 1 or 2 useful lines. Then you can start working on all the other stuff and get like a line of strength on everything else, because then comparatively getting better and more damage from the weapon secondary and emblem is going to be very expensive versus very cheap to just roll 3% strength on everything, right? And then there's going to be power in numbers with the rings, with all the pieces, having your pendant slots expanded, that kind of stuff. Because then it's like 3% times what, like 15, and then boom, 45% stat, right? Like that's huge. Or you get stuff to epic, and then it's 6% times whatever 15 or something, like boom, 90%. Right, that's when you get power in numbers. But before that, weapon secondary and emblem, very, very important. Symbol dailies for the arcane power, lots of flat stat, final damage, nodes if you can. Those are going to be the important things to look for.
Got it. And then, so my plan right now then would be, and I just actually was rolling the secondary while we were talking, and I got attack on it, so that's good.
Nice.
But then, when I get that unique E-pot scroll and unique pot scroll, I'll throw that on my emblem. Work on getting speed infusion and the Sweetwater weapon.
I think the Sweetwater weapon is going to be huge for you. If you can get a level 150 weapon, it's fine to just invest in the Sweetwater weapon too, because once you kill CRA, you can still use this weapon to transfer hammer into the CRA weapon anyway. So it's not like the value is completely lost at this point, right? Yeah. So if you can get a 150 weapon, then that's okay too.
Also on reset today, I should be starting to run my CRAs, so that should help.
Yeah, you'll get the pieces very quickly. If you do get the CRAs though, then you want to prioritize that to use flames on, even over the cup, right? Because those are level 150, so those have higher potential outcomes than level 140 piece, because they also have flame advantage.
Gotcha. And I don't know if it stayed the same, but is it still like usually 3 weeks to get CRA from the tokens, or do they drop the actual items now?
No, they still drop the tokens, but like 3-door, so if you're running with guild and they have some drop rate, there's like 99% chance that you'll get enough pieces to get the first 3 door pieces immediately. So like the hat, the top and the bottom, and then the weapon. Depending on the drop rate of the person, if you get to loot all the pieces first and then they go second, it'll be 2 weeks tops. 3 is only if you're running with like 4 or 5 people and everyone's trying to get all the pieces. Then it might be like 4 weeks or something at some point, because there's like too much RNG and you might only get like 3 pieces in a run. But whenever I run, even on my characters that don't really have a lot of drop rate and did my solo CRA runs for Project CRA, I usually got somewhere between like 9 and 13 pieces or something. For Vellum
right now, because that was what I was playing. I was gonna set it up for Arcana at the time, and I got carried through CRA I think twice, and I'm literally 1 piece off for 2 of the. I think both the body and the legs, I'm like 2 pieces off for the helmet.
Was it multiple people getting carried, or did the other person loot first?
It was so long ago, but I think it was just 1 person carrying. But I don't know if he had like good drop gear or not.
Yeah. I don't know. If someone goes in full damage gear so that they want to kill it faster, that could have a pretty big, then you can get like 3 or 4 pieces. But in general, if you have some drop gear, you get like 8 to 9 pieces or something of the 3 door, and then for Vellum can go up to like 13. I've even seen like 16 or 17 in 1 run, but that's pretty exceptional. You have to have crazy amounts of drop rate for that to happen.
Gotcha. Yeah, because like right now, at least, the way my guild is helping out, it's kind of like they're done with a lot of stuff, and they're helping me with the stuff that I haven't. Like, they carry Helix, and most of them don't need any of it.
So, I have my own feelings towards carries and stuff, and helping, and what helping means, but I'm not gonna project that onto your situation right now. Yeah.
Like, if this was my main game, I think I'd feel worse about getting as much help.
Yeah.
Because like, I do like basically like I should be able to do the boss based on numbers, and then I try it, and I have to learn the mechanics instead of just standing there while I kill it.
Yeah.
Because just because you could do it like right when you're able to do Vellum, it doesn't mean you're gonna one shot them. You're gonna take a while.
It's gonna take a while. Yeah. Like my Project CRA runs, like every character so far I've been able to do it, but on a lot of the characters it's almost full timer usage before I actually get them. Most of the Vellum kills are, I think all of them have been less than 2 minutes left, but most of them is like 30 seconds or less left at the end. So those all full 20-minute runs. And you'll never see me do it again. Like, if I could do it once and I killed him, like, okay, box checked, I'm never going back. Like, if I'm ever going to kill it again, I'm going to fund the hell out of my character first before I go back, because I'm not putting myself through that again. Like, I know I can do it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've watched a fair amount of them because it's interesting because the boss has the same mechanics, but then you have to adjust per class.
Yeah. Yeah, and some it's very easy to get used to, and others it's like, whoa, okay, this is very different.
One thing that is like frustrating for me, at least, like for example, when I was trying to do my first normal mag solo when I came back, I was doing well and I was dodging all the shit, and then memory leak DC.
Yeah, that's another reason why I don't feel like harping as bad on people like for not taking the game too seriously. Like, if the game doesn't take itself seriously with like the state that it's in right now, I don't feel like we can really fault the players for trying to cut corners a little bit. And in the other sense, like if you do get to the point where you're like, okay, this is actually really fun, and then I want to play another character, and then with this character I'm gonna try to do it like more, like earn the whole thing by myself more, and maybe do a thing more with parties and maybe with friends, you know, God forbid that the game actually becomes stable and you're actually able to tell friends that you play this and get them to play without feeling like you're luring them into a trap or something. That would be a whole other scenario when I'm like, now it's way more rewarding, and I would advise more doing it. But up until that point, it's like, yeah, just you play what you have time for and what makes sense for you.
Like right when I hit 200, since I had to kill Magnus for the stone, for example, I made sure I got a good carry, because like the last time I did Magnus, literally, I couldn't, and I DC'd.
Yeah, that's...
So I want to make sure I got my 5th job that day, because I would have been pissed if I DC'd.
Yeah,
after
yeah, you
doing
DC.
well.
If you DC, you can go again in 30 minutes, right?
Oh,
I
I didn't
think.
know that.
Yeah, I think so.
I
It's
know
only
you can with like the easy one, but I didn't
yeah.
know
If you
could do that.
clear, then I know you can go in again. Some people like clear before on the day before they activate the quest or something, or they go and they kill it and then they were already on the quest but they didn't click the last thing or something. But they're gonna change that. There's gonna be like a special quest Magnus, that, like with a portal towards it that pops up when you're at the at the lady that gives you the rock, and then you can just teleport there and do the special event Magnus, even if you've already killed Magnus in the game that day. So that's crazy that took him 5 years to implement that, but okay.
I think that makes sense, especially with the state of connection.
Yeah. I don't think they had it in mind for that reason, but yeah, that makes it also more valuable, I would say.
Alright, so I think to kind of like outline my goals should be always doing my like Vanishing Journey and Choo-Choo dailies when I get them. And then upgrading my symbol, and I already got my attack on my secondary. From now, I'll leave it at epic.
Nice. Yeah,
just because
that's
I
fine.
don't have like a ton of funding, but I got some. And after that, after I basically get the WSE decent, I should be going for like epic strength flying on my other stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Just one at a time, try to get 3% on everything. If something goes epic, try to get 6%. And just slowly work your way up that way. Like if there's event rings or nodes in an event shop, that's always high priority. And just in general. So depending on how fast you're going, like if you think you're gonna get CRA like really soon because of the guild and everything, then forget what I said about like the Von Leon gear. They'll just be sidetracked. But you can use the CRA gear for the flames. Yeah, maybe the pink holy cup if you can get that. That's way better than this one, since you already have the pocket slot. Might as well use that a little bit more. And
I was so happy with that compensation, because the best part about it is like when I bought those things, I was playing on normal server, and I was buying them to hopefully like hit the ring and sell it, because that's what was really expensive. So I wasn't buying it for the actual like NX stuff. Like some people were upset because they got like male or female exclusive stuff, and they were actually buying it to have NX stuff.
Yeah.
Different
motivations.
To make Meso, so I got basically 2 benefits out of it.
Yeah. Sometimes lucky.
Yeah. Usually I don't feel that way, but and I had another question. So even though I have no drop gear, another part of that box was drop coupons. When I'm doing Vanishing Journey, should I just pop those just for the higher chance of nodes?
Yeah, I would do that, because if you've already gotten the box, you only have like 7 days to use it, right? And then the coupons itself don't have that long of a duration, so you probably just want to use experience and maybe like Monster Park potions and just kind of like push on the buffs while you're training. It's probably a good idea, yeah, because the nodes are going to be highly valuable for you at this stage.
And I forget which map, but is there a decent map in Vanishing Journey before you get the Choo-Choo for?
It really comes down to how strong you are. With how strong you are, it might even be better after you do your dailies just to go back to like Forsaken Excavation Site 2 or something and just spam that one instead, because the monsters will be way easier to kill because you're only at 3k stat. So I think even with the arcane power, I think the monsters in Vanishing Journey might be a little bit too beefy for you. I don't know how you've experienced that. If you work more on the symbols and everything,
a couple hits, not like a one shot.
So you can always do a battle analysis, right? And kind of check, do like 15 minutes or something on a coupon, and you have one totem in 15 minutes, and kind of check how much experience you make, and you compare it one map with the other, and then like, because usually you would say like
about them adding that completely.
You probably have to do the pretty early on maps, and those are pretty shitty layouts when it comes to like the Stone Erders or something. Maybe those are kind of close together. Any kind of maps that where you find like Infernal Concussion can hit like 2 plats, and where your big summons that you can put out can hit like a lot of plats, that will be a useful map for you to go into.
Gotcha. Because I basically want to try to get Node Stones going.
Yeah.
That's the reason I was considering not going to Forsaken. But
yeah.
Would it be better to just get the Choo Choo and maybe with that, because I'll have the 2 symbols and get stronger that way?
Yeah, if you get to 205, you can go to Reverse City. Reverse City is really good. Monsters need a lot of don't need a lot of arcane power. The maps are better layouts, I think, and it's typically higher level burn and everything as well, because people are just doing fewer dailies there and everything. So I like Reverse City a lot once you get to 205, and then you can ride that to 210. Some people even stay there up to like 215, even when they've already unlocked Choo Choo. And then at 215 unlock Yum Yum, and then start training in Yum Yum, something like that.
Gotcha. That sounds good. I think then I'll probably just try to get to Reverse City to have a better layout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because a lot of them in Vanishing aren't the greatest layout.
No, yeah, the plats are all over the place, and the monsters' hitboxes aren't that great either. They're kind of small, so you can miss them a lot, even if you're just like right next to them. So.
Gotcha. I don't think I have any other big questions that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess when it comes to your hyperstats, from what I saw, yeah, if you're not going to be bossing a lot, then I guess it's fine where you're at. If you are going to boss more, you could, especially if you're going to the new areas, as soon as you unlock Choo Choo, you probably want to put a little bit of an Arcane Force to get your Arcane Power up, so that you can do the dailies and actually kill the monsters there, because they might be a little bit steep when you get there initially. But if you're not going to be bossing much, and your bossing is mainly like with carries and stuff, you can just distribute more of your points over like bonus EXP and Arcane Force than any of the other ones at this point, I would say.
And with that, are you able to reset hyperstats or no?
Yeah, there's a reset button here. I think it's like 100k the first time, and it goes up to like 10 mil if you've done it a few times, and then 10 mil is the highest it can ever cost. Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah,
so
there's going to be a preset option later, which is also really cool. So you can just save like one preset for mobbing and one for bossing, and just switch between them. And it costs like, I don't know, it costs like 5 mil or something to switch. It's even cheaper than now. Plus it's instant, so it's a whole lot of clicking saved.
That's huge, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's kind of small, but yeah, it's quality of life wise. It's like, thank God, please, thank you, give it to us now, kind of thing.
Yeah, I always love things like that, because like it basically takes tedium there's fine levels of tedium in games, and some that just like feel stupid.
Yeah, it's just obnoxious. Yeah. Even just letting us level multiple levels at once would already be a huge quality of life. Making me reset, but I could just
shift click and do 5, 10.
Yeah, exactly. Or faster when I just like click, not like click. Oh, it's gonna cost this much. Okay, and like the extra window, it just slows the whole thing down so much. Especially if you're on EU ping, it just responds so slowly. All right. Well, we're already like at an hour. So we're gonna double check if there's any really important stuff in the short term. Otherwise, I think you've got some homework to some stuff that you can work on, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got that no boom room coming up, so if you get high enough rank, try to use that to Star Force or CRA if you can. That'll save you a lot of money. Don't have to worry about booming.
Did they put a date on that yet, or?
Well, you have to get a certain rank. It's already available, but you have to get to the senior rank, I believe. So you have to get enough coins. And then not this weekend, but the weekend after that, there's a 1+1 Star Force event. So if you Star Force and you are at 10 stars or lower, then if you succeed, you gain 2 stars instead of 1. So that'll be a pretty good event as well, combined with the No Boom Room to get like CRA stuff to 15, for example. It's going to be free real estate for that.
Yeah. Senior is the second upgrade, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm almost at that, so I
Yeah.
should. So if I get the CRA, I should be able to use that room.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Yeah, just and Sunday, 1 weekend away from now. It's gonna just save you a lot of money, especially if you get like a different E-ring, right, with better flame. You just wait until then, boom, basically get it just half off.
Yeah, I think I've gotten 2 Decidious, so like if I get another, I'll probably just use it if it doesn't, because all of them haven't had decent flames or no potential.
Yep, that's also a thing. All right. Cool. I think that settles it for today.
Sounds good. Thank you. It was a good session.
All right, no problem. Best of luck, and I'll see you around. And yeah, you can always reach out, but have fun in PoE when that hits. I hope it's a fun league this time.
Yeah, it looks insane. So.
All right.
Have a good one, man.
Yep, you too. See ya.
See ya.
All right. So that's mainly equip session and just barely into 5th job for Demon Slayer. So if you're in a similar situation, the offside, if you are not like in the situation of getting carried, so like the Von Leon stuff is a good move here. Very strong gear. Keep an eye on excavation mark cubing. This one right here. Can I open this in a new tab? Is that better? Oh, there you go. Yeah. General order, which cubes you use, which potential you use, how far you go on everything, right? Just a little bit of advice. Not too min-maxy, not too detailed. This is more detailed, but this doesn't really come into play until you're later in the game, right? You're going like past level 230, 240, that kind of stuff. Not this early as the person in this session. Dailies, you can always use this. You know, this is like when things have value, I think, for your time. So you can always use this as a first contact of all this content. If you don't like doing it, if you don't think it's important, like I said, you know, skip it. If it is something that's very important, not everything is on here, so some stuff can be extra. It can be added to this always as well. Always open to feedback as well if you guys have any of that. If you need to know what nodes to go for, what boost nodes, !V matrix in the Twitch chat will help you with that. And all the other resources also available through the Twitch chat. So hopefully this session was useful, and if you were in the same situation as this person was, and you've learned a little bit more of the value of which upgrades to go for and why they're so important. If not, feel free to reach out. And of course, if you would like to win one of these sessions as well, either short or long, whichever you want to do. You can also talk about other stuff. You could talk about trying to find your main character, or you can give me like a recording of a boss you're doing and you just want help and advice on what to do with the boss so that you can kill it better. Anything that you want to do Maple related, basically, in like anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, you can win with one of these sessions for free. Just leave a comment on the YouTube video saying that you would like to win, and I draw 2 winners at the end of October. So it could be you. If you don't want to wait and you want one of these sessions, you can always find the link in the description on how you can reach out and ask for one of those. And I stream every day on Twitch, so drop by when I'm live and you can ask me stuff in real time as well. Of course, you're not going to get a whole free progression session in one time, but people have basically gradually over time gotten the essence of a progression session just by being in chat and asking a bunch of questions. And there's a lot of helpful people, there's a lot of helpful information, commands, and I'm there, so you'll be able to get your fill. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy the video. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you on